Hello guys, welcome to another video. This week I'm afraid is a very short one. As you'll see further in the video, I've spent a good few days in the barn having a good sort out, so obviously it wasn't really anything to video. So just a quick short video just for the one day that I had on the Defender, just to show you what I'd been playing with. And then yeah, it'll just be a nice short one. So I'll see you next week. I don't know what's happening yet. I think I've got a clutch to do in a Honda Civic, and probably some bits on the Defender in between. So anyway, have a great one. I'll see you soon. Cheers.
Good morning, it's Monday again. Right, this week we are going to carry on with the Defender, obviously. I want to try and get it as much done as I can this week, because I need to get that other one in and make a start on it. I'm going to contact the owner today and see if I can put him off a bit. I did say I'd try and get it done by the end of the year, but with the delay of my chassis, it put me about 2 months behind. So I'm going to see if I can get it back to him by the end of January. I'm sure that'd be all right. It's been sat here for long enough prior to me getting it. So anyway, I'm just making up a test rig to get the air suspension working. Let me show you. Just got a bit of wood, cut some holes out for the switches and the gauges, just so I can get it all wired in and get it tested. And then obviously we'll move these onto the dashboard when it arrives. But I found one problem. Can you see it? I don't know if you can. One switch is different to the other three. Three of them have got electrical connectors, I presume, for illumination. One of them hasn't. So I'm now going to contact the seller and see if I can get that sorted. So now that's on there, let's get in the car and try and sort the pipes out. Right, so we've got our line in from the tank, split 4 ways to the switches. Then out the switches goes on a T-piece, as you can see there, out the switch on a T-piece into the gauge, and then that will come out to each airbag. But what I'm going to do is, because my other gauge hasn't arrived yet to see the tank pressure, I'm just going to connect this one straight to the tank. Sorry, I'm just going to connect this one to this one, and then get the tank running so we can just check the pressure and make sure the blow-off valves all work, the pressure relief valves and stuff. So I'm going to do that now. Right, I've charged it up a few times, dropped it again, and then I've gone around and PTFE'd all the connections. So I've put it up to 120, so we'll leave it now and see if it drops. Right, it didn't hold pressure. It's the next morning now. This happened just before I went home last night. I noticed it was dropping, and I found out why. The fitting I had on here for the PCL was fine, but the bulkhead fitting, had snapped and it was pissing air out. So what I'm going to do is just put on the end of that hose that went in there, I'm just going to put a T-piece and then loop a hose around so it's a sealed circuit. I've spoke to the seller of this thing. He says he's never seen one do that before. And I've asked if they do a stronger one, and he said no. Well, they do, but they are not going to have stock for weeks. So he's going to send me another one of these out, so hopefully it will last. If not, we'll have to think of a different solution. But for now, I'm just going to loop that and bridge it. Now, the next problem, the compressor goes to 150 PSI, but the blow-off valve releases at 125, 130.
That blow-off valve on the tank blows off at 200 because the tank is rated for 200. The pressure switch is between 120 and 150, so I need it to pump up to 150, i.e. this maximum. Now I'm thinking if I undo that and find a bolt with the same thread and block it off, or get a bung, or put the 200 psi one from there, the tank, on there, and then block that off, because obviously worst case, if that switch failed and this kept pumping, I mean it does say 150, so I don't suppose it ever gets 200, and obviously if it's on constantly I'll know. So that might be the option. So I'm going to take this apart now and see whether the thread on that blow-off valve is the same as that one, or whether I can just put a bung in there. So let's do that before we put any more pressure in. Right, well, the switch has gone off at 150 psi. All I did was put a cable tie around the pressure release switch on the compressor just for now, just to stop it blowing, for testing purposes while I order a blank. So let's see how long it holds 154, and then we know we haven't got any other leaks. Right, first test on my rig. So we've had a big move around. I've moved the MG over there, the two Range Rovers over here, and just behind all that lot there is the classic Mini. I've had 2 days in here, hence why I've not done much in the workshop. We've completely stripped all the shelves, me and Tom, and gone through everything I have, put it all back in nicely, photographed it all ready for eBay. So I can now walk around, I know where everything is, there's no crap on the floor, well, apart from a few odds and sods that I'm still yet to find a home for, but it's pretty much all done. Which means, moving over to the other side, moved everything out of these bays. So these are now empty, and I've still got to sort all these wheels and tyres out, see what I've got here, but I've gone through all the ones at the back to work out what I've got. Photographed them all ready to go on eBay to sell, and I'm going to clear that side over there where all that wood and panels are, and then I'm going to go through this stack and put all that stack against that wall. So then we've got 4 bays here for parking.